Hello Sapiens, this is a response to Knowntje, titled Agnostic Challenge to Atheists. Why is this a challenge to atheist? Biggest question about this video is, what does any of this have to do with an agnostic point of view? Almost all your questions are from an exclusively theistic point of view. Admittedly, I am not nor ever considered myself an agnostic, and so maybe these are the questions that you agnostics consider as separating your beliefs from that of atheist. But to me many of these questions appear to be the same that theists use when they are trying to prove that atheists have no morals or don't exist at all. It could be that you just took the easy way out and borrowed from the plethora of stupid theist arguments. I don't know why you came up with the challenges you did. That's something you need to ask yourself, but in my opinion they do not represent agnosticism positively. That aside, I tried to answer them as honestly as I could, but one is just stupid and one pissed me off. You really need to look at what you are implying about your audience through your questions. Your question was
1. When did you become an atheist?
To my knowledge, I have never had a belief in a god. If I did, it was before 2nd grade and I don't know of any specific reason.
2. Why do you choose atheism over agnosticism?
I never remember choosing, I just didn't believe God was real. To me, to be an agnostic requires that you consider that there is at least some possibility that God existed, and I don't.
3. There are a lot of scientists who support religion. Why is that?
So, mankind has been historically theist, and the fact that scientists have been mostly theistic speaks for their heritage in human society. Today scientists have the largest percentage of atheists of any occupation.
4. There are actual science facts in the Bible and Quran which were unknown at the time. Why is that?
Science facts? You mean like E=mc² or the theory of evolution or plate tectonics or heliocentric solar system? Don't think so. What you have are vague and obscure poetic quotes that some current zealot, who is ignorant of science, wants us to believe is really science in the vain hope that it might legitimize the fictitious documents his delusions are based on.
5. Do you try to convert theists? Why or why not?
I try to show others the error in their beliefs in hopes that they may come to a more enlightened understanding of reality. Which I guess would be a yes. I do not delude myself that it is likely to produce any real conversions, but on the off chance that I might contribute to someone's enlightenment, I do what I can. Along with the question you also state,
some atheists are unhappy because they don't see a purpose.
Why would you make such a stupid comment? The only group that I think this might be applicable to is recent deconversions, and even that, I have no direct evidence that they exist. I have never met an established atheist that has any problem with purpose. I believe for many atheists, we don't want or need someone to give us a purpose. We have no problem with developing them on our own, as we see fit. This is the kind of statement theists use to imply that atheists have no purpose and that they suffer because of it, which is of course total bull on both points.
6. What if an alien life was discovered with the same religion as one here on Earth?
With all the diversity of religions on Earth, it would be surprising if there wasn't at least one Earth religion that superficially looked like an alien one. This is truly a stupid question.
7. What could convert you to theism?
A complete change in our reality and all the history behind it. There is nothing in this universe that has even suggested that there is any intelligence behind it. If some super being came along claiming to be God, I would probably not believe it. I do not respect power for power's sake. There must be something more to being God than just being powerful. And if this universe is the best a deity wannabe could do, then he is truly a jerk and not worthy of worship or praise.
8. Would you prefer a God and an afterlife? Why or why not?
No. When I'm dead I will not care. Rotting in the ground, becoming one with the elements that created me sounds just fine. Regardless, living with delusions and lies just to give myself a warm fuzzy and hide me from a world I am too lazy to deal with, is much bigger horror. I find I am not so hedonistic that I need to lie to myself, so that I will not worry that the good time will ever end.
9. Hypothetically, God actually existed, and you die and found yourself standing in front of him. What would you say?
I would ask him, why didn't you do more? Why did you neglect us? What gives you the right to judge us, when you have not lifted a finger to improve the lot of mankind? Why do you let us kill each other in your name, but you never let us know who is your chosen, or why we fight? Why does the diversity of your creations create so much calamity and hardship? Did you really need to create Ebola, the plague, tidal waves, drought, floods, pestilence, etc.? And couldn't you have been created when people started to suffer? If you mean this hardship as a test, why not test everyone equally? Why don't you let us know the rules of the test? ... Ultimately ending in me bitch slapping God for doing such a lousy job and then him torturing me forever, because that is what megalomaniacs do.
10. Would it be okay to kill someone if you are not caught?
Do you realize that this question implies that just because we are atheist and don't have some God to answer for, we are likely to go out killing freely, if the yokes of civilization are removed? Just because you believe no one can have moral standard, except as told to you by some imaginary being, or fear of some imaginary being, does not mean that others cannot form a moral standard based on an honest assessment of what they believe is the best for society at large. As almost any atheist can tell you, there is always consequences to our action. That's why we can't just lie to ourselves in the vain hope of creating a false sense of happiness. So that would be a definite no. Lesson: frequently the questions we ask of others tell more about ourselves than the answers tell about them. Remember, believing is seeing.